Okay, what a way to sign on to SportsBang this morning. Manchester United, they're coming off the leaves of Burna Boy. Okay, it's been trying times for the Red Devils, but of course, well, the question is, will Ole Gunnar Solskjaer be sacked anytime soon? Well, there are people who are set to be in queue for his job. Antonio Conte is said to be interested. But then, Zinedine Zidane also, his name has been mentioned at some point, but the real question is, will he be sacked or not? Good morning and welcome to SportsBang, reaching you live from the Integrity Dial, Splash 105.5 FM. It's a great Tuesday morning. Of course, we have a lot to talk about this morning in the world of sports. Stories from tennis, stories from the NBA. Matches continue there. We'll talk about that. Also from the Nigerian scene. That's with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, with the Super Falcons as well. But with the Super Eagles of Nigeria, the discussion is about Odion Jude Igalo. Over the course of the weekend, the president of the NFF, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, mentioned that he's had discussions with Odion Igalo and possibility of him returning to the Super Eagles of Nigeria. He says it is positive discussion so far, and that has, in a way, divided opinion amongst the fans. So we'd like to know what you think about that this morning. While we also talk about the EFL Carabao Cup coming up today as well. All of that and so much more we get to talk about on SportsBank this morning. Welcome to the show. My name is Blessing Fowowe, and of course, Ferrum Adibuga joining me this morning. Good morning, Ferrum. How are you doing?
Yeah, good morning to you, Blessing. Good morning to a wonderful listener. Always good to be back here to talk sports. Our studio manager just walked out. I start getting over it at this point in time. It's not going to be forever. It's just a matter of time. For me, I think, when I saw that news of Odion Igalo in that one, I was amused. I was like, I mean, what are we talking about again this time around? Why do we need Odion Jude Igalo back at the national team? I mean, he has done his bit. He has been able to give us, a massive good years of performance for the Super Eagles, dedications in that one. Let the young lads continue for what they are doing at this point in time. We've got a talent in that particular position. Up front, we can mention and measure, and it's still a lot that we are yet to extend invitation to that are doing very well in Europe. So why bring him back? Why do we need him back? A lot of people might want to say, okay, experience. And I ask myself, are these guys that are playing professional football right there in Europe not experienced enough? I mean, I don't see any reason why Odion Igalo should be back into this particular squad, as far as I'm concerned. As for me, I think going forward, we have enough quality to deliver for us as the Super Eagles of Nigeria. And trust me, what we need now is just a bit of, a tactical input into that particular team that would actually take that team to the next level. For me, that's what we need at this point in time.
Do we need Odion Jude Igalo or not back in the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Head on to Facebook this morning, our fan page, Splash FM 105.5 Ibadan. We are streaming live this morning. You can also leave your comments on that page. Let's get talking. Odion Jude Igalo, should he be brought back to the Super Eagles of Nigeria? Because the NFF president is hinting on having him back. Let's get on Facebook this morning and start the discussion. Before we get into football, I'm going to start off with tennis with US Open champion Emma Raducanu. She's saying that everyone should be patient as she attempts this week to earn the first win since her Grand Slam success. The 18-year-old Briton turned the sport by lifting the title in New York last month, despite never having won a WTA match in her fledgling career. In her only tournament since, she lost the Indian Wells first round, and on Tuesday, that's today, placed in the Transylvanian Open. In her words, I'm going to find my tennis. I just need a little bit of time. Raducanu seeded third at the event, placed Slovenia's world number 124, Polona Hercog, later today. Still without a coach after parting ways with Andrew Richardson, who helped her triumph in New York. She's aiming for a first victory in a WTA event. Raducanu has lost the opening rounds at previous tournaments in Nottingham, San Diego, and India Wells. And this time around, she's hoping to appoint a coach before 2022 season and has been training with Joanna Conte's former coach Esteban Carril this month. The struggles of success, you should say, especially for coming at a very, very young age where nothing could prepare you for what is to come. That's what she's probably battling with at this point, and she's calling for patience from everyone. You expect so much of her, but just give her time for her to find her tennis. The words of Raducanu there. And speaking of Australian Open 2022, it's all about vaccination or not being vaccinated ahead of the first Grand Slam of the year, that is in 2022. And unvaccinated tennis stars are set to be allowed to play in the Australian Open, but face 2 weeks of hard quarantine and regular testing. That's according to a letter distributed to WTA players. The Australian minister has said players without jabs would not be able to enter the country for the tournament, but WTA Player Council says it has told all competitors will be allowed to go into Melbourne in January. It said Tennis Australia thought entry rules skills would improve significantly. And last week, Victoria Premier Daniel Andrews said he did not think an unvaccinated player, a tennis player, would be given a visa to enter into Australia. But it looks that it is changing right about now, with some players refusing to disclose their vaccination status. That's Novak Djokovic, men's world #1 player. It says at this moment he's not going to review whether he has been vaccinated or not. But from the letter issued by to WTA players, those players who are fully vaccinated would need a test within 24 hours of arrival, but then there'll be no requirement for them to quarantine or stay in a bubble. There'll be no ongoing restrictions imposed on them, and there will be complete freedom of movement. And for unvaccinated players, they'll be required to go through mandatory hotel quarantine for 14 days on arrival, and of course take part in regular testing. You know what? Staying in an hotel for 14 days did to them. Last year, I know many of them want to avoid that, but of course there are still reservations about the vaccine. That's why many athletes are yet to take the vaccine. Away from that, let's move into the NBA, where we had games in the early hours of this morning. But before we talk about those games, I'd like you to get a friend like Draymond Green and Steph Curry, the kind of brotherhood they have amongst themselves, because Draymond Green says he's going to celebrate another one of Steph Curry's historic feats with an expensive bottle of wine, and for the second year in a row, he says he's going to put it on Warriors owner's tab. That's Joe Lacob, and that's in honor of Curry making NBA's 75th anniversary team. Green said he was going to enjoy the occasion in style inside the same Oklahoma City restaurant where he celebrated Curry breaking Will Chamberlain's franchise record for points last season. And to one team that is doing very, very well at this point, Chicago Bulls, that's their name. They are off to the franchise best start since the 1996-1997 season. They improved to 4-0 on Monday. That's today, 4-0 in their record so far this season, with a 111-108 victory against the Toronto Raptors at the Scotiabank Arena, making Chicago the last remaining unbeaten team in the Eastern Conference after overhauling their roster in free agency. The Bulls are already reaping the benefits of some of their biggest additions so far. They brought in DeMar DeRozan, Ferromi. They brought in Alonzo Ball as well. Yeah. But so far, it is looking so good for them. Yeah,
definitely. They've actually started fantastically well for them in this particular season. Just like you said this morning, they defeated Toronto Raptors 111-108 in that one. And of course, the new additions were definitely up for the gun in that one. Alonzo Ball having 15 points in that one, and as well DeRozan also having 26 points for himself in that one. I mean, you might want to talk about a team starting well for themselves at this particular point in time, but we know that the NBA is definitely a marathon. It's not how well you start sometimes, but how well you definitely finish. That is what really matters. But it's good for the confidence.
Sixers comes to mind.
Exactly.
Utah Jazz come to mind from last season.
I mean, you can recall a lot of teams that actually started well, but eventually they couldn't actually continue when it really matters. But for them, like I said, it's good for the confidence of these guys that they're actually doing well at this point in time. Hopefully they can continue with that kind of performance. Brooklyn Nets also they lost one, but they've been able to recover from that loss in that one by defeating Washington Wizards 104-90 in that one as well. And of course, the guys Kevin Durant, Brown, and of course James Harden on the point sheet in that one. Kevin Durant with 25 points, James Harden with 14 points in that one as well. So I think the big boys are still doing it, and of course they are still trying to get something for themselves. And not forgetting Milwaukee Bucks as well, the defending champion, also get better of Pacers in that one, 119-109. And of course, the main man himself, he started from where he actually left off, 30 points again this time around for Giannis Antetokounmpo in that one. And of course, he had 9 assists and 10 rebounds. That's a double-double for him in that game. So I think these guys are really doing well for themselves. Chris Middleton as well, not been left out with 27 points. So I think it's more of a team now than just an individual. With the way I see Milwaukee Bucks play so far this season, looks like if Giannis is actually left out, they can still be able to do something exactly in that particular team.
But they've lost the game already.
They've lost the game and they've won 3.
Giannis was there on that team when they lost. But hey, of course, I've been saying that I'll continue to talk about Boston Celtics because we have someone of interest in that team. Not just there are Nigerians on the roster, but it's about Ime Udoka, the former captain of the Tigers of Nigeria, who is leading the Boston Celtics, first Nigerian to coach an NBA side. And it's, of course, this morning he recorded his second victory with 140-129 victory over Charlotte Hornets in that one. Very, very huge. I mean, history-making moment for that man and his family. I remember when he was the captain of the Tigers, his elder sister, Mfom Udoka, was the captain of the D Tigers, and of course they led one of the golden generations of D Tigers team. Then speaking of the D Tigresses, but not for the team now, basically, but for the NBBF, they were hearing that the October 30 election of the Nigerian Basketball Federation has been suspended indefinitely. This was announced in a statement signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, Ismaila Abubakar, yesterday in Abuja. The ministry said in the statement noted that the decision to suspend the elective congress became necessary to avert further deterioration of the leadership crisis that had engulfed the federation. It noted that the rancor-free development of basketball in Nigeria was of utmost importance to the ministry and stakeholders, and advised all concerned to comply. So when will the election come up? We do not know, because it has been postponed indefinitely by the Ministry of Youth and Sport. Away from there, straight into football, where the Nigerian Football Federation has congratulated the senior women's national team, that's Super Falcons, for reaching the final round of the qualification series for next year's Women's African Cup of Nations finals, which is slated for Morocco, following that one-goal defeat to their Ghanaian counterpart in Accra on Sunday. But of course, the aggregates ended 2-1 in favor of Nigeria, despite the fact that they lost in Accra. But Dr. Mohamed Sanusi, the General Secretary of the NFF, is saying that there is room for improvement in the team's entire output over the two legs of that fixture over Black Queens, and that the NFF has concluded arrangements to reinvigorate the team technically and also strengthen the playing bodies. When you talk about revigorating technically, are we changing coaches? Are we changing backroom staff?
Exactly. That was the first thing that actually came to my mind. That hey, are we looking to actually change coach in this one, or are we bringing someone to actually support what Wardrum has been doing so far for these ladies? I think that's actually left for the NFF to actually answer at this point in time, and we wait and see what kind of decision they will be making. As far as I'm concerned, more quality to help what he's been able to do, but I don't think it's going to be advisable at this point in time to start changing the big man at the ends of affairs. But hey, we just wait and see what NFF will come up with their decision with.
And really, I'm not so in tune with the idea of congratulating the players for beating Ghana when we still have one more game to go, and that's against Cote d'Ivoire.
It wasn't as if we even had this.
Remember, Cote d'Ivoire knocked out the Super Falcons from going to the Tokyo Olympics.
Definitely.
Why are we congratulating ourselves? But hey, that is the report from the NFF on the Super Falcons this morning. But for the Super Eagles of Nigeria, it is all about Odion Jude Igalo, because Amaji Pinnick hinted at a return for Igalo back into the team, and former Nigerian midfielder Andrew Aikomogbe has kicked against that decision and is saying that for now, do not bring him back. Just allow the young guys, the Victor Osimhen, Paulo Noachu, Taiwo Awoniyi, Kelechi Iheanacho, Terry Murphy. He says allow them to prosper because they are good enough to shoulder the team's goal scoring responsibility. So we want to know this morning, should Igalo return? Where do you stand? Get on our Facebook this morning, our live stream, and leave your comment. For now, I'm going to go on a quick commercial break. When we return, we'll take the BBC Premier League update, also take your comment as well before we wrap things up this morning on SportsBang right here on Splash FM.
Every careless 5K, where is supposed go?
EcoBank straight.
Every urgent 5K in call.
EcoBank straight.
E get why. Season 12 EcoBank Super Rewards don't land as it land before. Put 5,000 naira for your EcoBank account. Make it rest there for 30 days. Or open your EcoBank account with 5K. 50 people go win 25,000 naira every week. 22. Ask your brother, sister, friend, neighbor to join, and you go get something. EcoBank, the Pan-African Bank.
This promotion has been approved by the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission.
Gbogbo ènìyàn ẹ kí kábíyèsí tó wọlé dé. Kábíyèsí o. Ó dé, ó ta gbogbo wọn yọ, ó rọ́wọ́ tòkè tilẹ̀, ó balẹ̀ bí ọ̀wàrà òjò. Àmbà! Ohun mímu afúnilágbára tí ń jẹ́ kára ẹni ó jí pépé tó bá dàbí ẹni pàgbára ń lọlẹ̀ tí ò fẹ́ ságbára mọ́. Gbàgbó ni kò lọ́tí nínú rárá, ó wà káàkiri ilé ìtajà tó súnmọ́. Béèrè fún kan tiẹ̀ lónìí, kò jẹ̀ gbádùn tó ṣàrà ọ̀tọ̀. Amba Drink Limited tó wà ní ọgbà Coco Industries 1 Coco Road off Akilo Road, ọgbà Ìkẹjà lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ ló ń pin tó ń tà. Ìwọ náà lè bá wọn dòwò pọ̀ lónìí láti jẹ́ alágbàtà tàbí aláràtúntà. Nọ́mbà yìí ni kó o pè sí 070-2606-4458. Amba Energy Drinks, ṣàfikún agbára inú rẹ.
We've stood by your side, helping you navigate through life's twists and turns. Through thick and thin, we have been there with you. Every car crash, every house that goes up in flames, every emergency, every unexpected news.
We now announce the passing.
And every unscripted part of your story that makes you feel lost in the world. We will flip the script to make the journey easier for you. Because at Royal Exchange General Insurance Company, we take every step with you 100%. Royal Exchange General Insurance Company. Insuring what matters.
This is what happens when you open up a bottle of Fanta. It's bubbly excitement waiting to break free. It's living in the moment. It's not caring who's watching. It's putting your enjoyment first. It's adding color to the gray and making time to play. It's not taking life too seriously and adding a touch of crazy. Fanta is flavor. Fanta is laughter. Fanta is color. How are you going to color your day? Fanta. Color every moment.
Oúnjẹ òun ni àjẹkẹ́jẹ́ bẹ́ẹ̀. Kíní nǹkan ń ṣe yùngbà nínú oúnjẹ yìí.
Kọrí ìsóúnjẹ tuntun látọwọ́ ọ̀ǹgà ni.
Ṣé pé ọ̀ǹgà náà ti ní kọrí?
Àkànṣe ni láti inú èròjà ìṣẹ̀dálẹ̀.
Kọrí ọ̀ǹgà tí a fi àpòpọ̀ àwọn èròjà ìṣẹ̀dálẹ̀ ṣe.
Ó ga o, ṣé ẹ ṣàlè fún wa lóúnjẹ díẹ̀ sí ṣá?
Ọ̀ǹgà, Mama's helping hand.
Hey ladies, don't you just hate it when people with beautiful, even-toned skin refuse to tell you their secrets? They tell you all they do is drink water and mind their business. Those that finally tell you, give you a 50-step routine. I'm not saying those things don't work, but haba. Thankfully, I found the secret to maintaining glowing, even-toned skin. Lux Even Complexion combines active face ingredients with carrot oil and exfoliating beads to give your skin that beautiful glow. Lux Even Complexion for glowing, fragrant skin. Now available in stores near you.
Milo! Yes!
Tell me first, why do I give you Milo every morning?
Because every day I play like a baller, I run like a sprinter, I learn like a scholar, so I need all the energy I can get, you see?
I see very well.
Give your kids winning energy. Milo Active Go, with the goodness of malts, milk, and cocoa, helps them make the most of every day. Milo, the energy to go further.
Lẹ́nìkan bá ń bi mí ohun tí mo máa ṣe tí bá jowó tó tówó gidi. Mo ronú mílíọ̀nù kan náírà àbí. Ìyẹn ò tún nǹkan kan rárá. Bóyá pẹ̀lú bíi 5 tàbí 10. Mo lè.
Mú àlárẹ̀rẹ̀ rẹ ṣẹ pẹ̀lú ìpolongo Airtel Recharge and Blow níbi tí gbogbo èèyàn ti jẹ́ olúborí. Ra owó ìpè dójú àmì lọ́sọ̀ọ̀sẹ̀ kó o sì gbádùn ẹ̀bùn owó tó tó 100 mílíọ̀nù náírà. Ìpolongo yìí ń wá sópin ní oṣù December ọdún 2021. Fún àlàyé síwájú sí testa 444*4#.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Hello, I'm Paul Serres at the BBC Sports Centre. The speculation over the future of Manchester United manager Ole Gunnar Solskjaer continues. The Norwegian described Sunday's 5-0 home defeat to Liverpool as the darkest day of his near 3 years in charge at Old Trafford, admitting United had hit rock bottom. So what's the latest on his future? Here's the BBC's Simon Stone.
Well, it's interesting because for quite a while now, for a number of weeks, Manchester United have been defensive of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and the work that he's been doing. They've given him a new contract. They've given him his assistant manager Mike Phelan a new contract, and they spoke about new contracts for the coaching staff as well. But a result like that, it was the biggest away win Liverpool have ever had against Manchester United. Their biggest win since the 1800s against Manchester United. That has certainly got people scratching their heads. And I think there's some introspection around United. I think a lot of the players are feeling a bit bemused and a bit let down by Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And I don't think it's completely calm at the moment. I don't think it's completely put to bed the story. I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got a bit of time yet before he can breathe easily and think that he can start planning for next weekend's game against Tottenham.
The former United midfielder Terry Gibson doesn't think Solskjaer will be in the United hot seat for much longer.
to lose in that manner. It wasn't just the scoreline, it was the fact that it happened so quick. Manchester United were never in the game at all, and it was, it is hard to survive.
And for more football news from the BBC, go to bbc.com/football.
BBC Premier League update from the home of Premier League football.
Okay, that was the BBC Premier League update dedicated to talking about Manchester United. And what they say, it's a crisis. Well, I don't know. Let's get on Facebook this morning. We cannot take calls. Phone lines been ringing, but sorry, no calls this morning. But to comments on Facebook. Interesting comments, you should say, really. Chigozie Okeke says, I am yet to recover from last Sunday's defeat. Nigeria doesn't need Igalo at all. He should stay retired. I am saying that with utmost respect to him, he says. And Agbebi Felix says, Igalo isn't needed again. He has done his best for Nigeria, and we are having better players up front. Osimhen is among them. He shouldn't come back to lose his honor. Adini says, bringing Igalo back would be a morale killer to the young ones and counterproductive. Lamzi says, I don't think Nigeria needs Igalo at this point. If we keep settling and going back to old stars, when exactly will we discover the new talents that will take us forward in Nigerian football? Odion Igalo back to the Super Eagles? It's a no for me. That's from Lamzi. Thank you very much. Uchenna says, good morning, guys. I felt bad hearing from you that Pinnick is trying to bring Igalo back. It's normal with us Nigerians. We like the elderly a lot. That's what our politicians know, and Pinnick is a political sports manager, so I'm not surprised. Instead of him working on bringing the likes of Eberechi Eze and Michael Olise to address the creative problems in the team, they are busy looking for a Igalo that cannot even be compared with Taiwo Awoniyi. That's what he's saying. And he says, meanwhile, I think Arsenal fans should be given an award. Just a 5-0 loss, and United fans can't hold it. Good morning, guys. And from Abu Kasimu, good morning to you in the studio. To me, Odion Igalo should not come back to the Super Eagles. As for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, the Glazer family are taking Manchester United for granted. They are not after trophies, they are after profit. I don't know why they are delaying the sacking of Ole. In 2018, Mourinho was sacked after losing 3-1 to Liverpool. Why retaining Ole Gunnar Solskjaer after losing 5-0 to the same Liverpool? It's a long one, really, but I can't think everything this morning. And Abiodun Faleye says, do you think Manchester United is asking me, don't you think Manchester United deserve a new coach? I am not Glazer. I'm not a member of the Glazer family. And final comment from Olusegun Adeni. He says, did General Trot personally request Igalo be brought back, or is Mr. Pinnick now the coach of the team? What can Igalo bring to the team that Osimhen is not doing now? Won't Igalo's return halt the progress of the young strikers in the team? Is asking. Mr. Pinnick should face the real problem. What we need now is a change of coach. Maybe you should consider bringing back Westerhoff or Baba Onigbe since we don't want to make progress. Lots of comment this morning, but I cannot pick everything. I have to say shout out to everyone who is streaming and watching us live on Facebook this morning. Carabao Cup games: Arsenal against Leeds United, Chelsea at home to Southampton, and QPR against Sunderland. Feromi, you are parting short. We have to leave.
Definitely. I don't think we should be advocating for a sack of a legend. I mean, this is a man that has actually done so well.
He has family to feed. I keep saying
I mean, that's just it. That's just it.
Only at the wheel. Only at the wheel. Thank you very much for being a part of SportsBang this morning, Feromi. Shout out to Bolo as well. I mean, it's not smiling, but hey, we love you regardless.
Yeah,
my name is Blessing Fowowe. We'll be back here with SportsBang later this evening at 6:30. Stick around. Au revoir.
Splash FM 105.5.
Ẹ madamu, ẹ dákun ṣé POS machine yìí ṣiṣẹ́ mo fẹ́ gba owó díẹ̀.
Ó yẹ ẹ mú káàdì yín wá. Kí ló wá ṣe POS machine yìí nítorí Ọlọ́run? Àwọn kọ́sọ́mà ló sì à ń bọ̀ yìí.
Madamu ṣé ò sí nǹkan o.
Ọ̀nkú kò sí nǹkan kan. Nẹ́tíwọ̀kì yìí ń ṣe dákúndájí látàárọ̀. Ṣùgbọ́n ẹ má wọrí, yóò ṣiṣẹ́ láìpẹ́.
Ayégbé kìí ṣe Mama ATM POS machine lẹ́ ń lò nù.
Èwo tún ni Mama ATM?
Mama ATM POS machine. Wọ́n ránṣẹ́ lọ́nà tó rọrùn tó dájú. Aṣojú ilé-iṣẹ́ ìfowópamọ́ tó fi ní lọ́kànbalẹ̀ tí èèyàn sì ti lè gbowó jáde. Fi owó sórí decoder GoTV, DSTV àti StarTime níṣẹ́jú àyá. Mama ATM POS machine ọ̀tẹ̀ research card. Kọ̀mọ̀sí irú rẹ̀ lẹ́yìn. Ra research card sórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ rẹ kó sì tún wo balance